Okay, we are live.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the August 10th, 2022 Emergency Full Board Meeting of Manhattan Community Board 6. My name is Kyle Athiad, and I am the chair of CB6. This meeting is called to order at 7 p.m. And tonight we are joined by Secretary Matt Bondi, District Manager Jesus Perez, Assistant District Manager Brendan Berth, and that's Community Associate Alexandra Crawford. As a reminder, New York State law now requires all community board members to have their cameras on and their first and last names displayed from the time the meeting is called to order until the time the meeting is adjourned. If your camera is not on at this time and your name not properly displayed, you cannot count towards quorum. So please make sure that you are following those rules. But before we begin in our board business, I just want to thank everyone for your attendance tonight. It is a rare occurrence for our board to call for such an emergency meeting, particularly during our summer hiatus. But given the issue at hand with the strict timeline that we have to participate, I felt it was necessary to call such a meeting to represent our community's voice. So your presence tonight is demonstrative of how seriously we take our duties as community board members and our role in representing the concerns of our community. So I just wanted to let you know that I appreciate you all for your commitment and service. So in order to conduct an efficient meeting tonight, we will observe a few ground rules. First, no one may speak until granted the floor. 2, CB6 members, if you have a question about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand through Zoom. Next, the chat function should not be used for CB6 business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us to any technical difficulties you are having or to state in writing information such as an email address or link that was already stated aloud on the record during the meeting. When a member is given the floor to speak, I, as the chair, will identify you, and then you can unmute yourself so that you can speak. Next, we are required by New York State law to have a transcript of this meeting, so please keep all questions and comments succinct and germane to the discussion. To the members of the public, at tonight's emergency full board meeting, we are accepting remarks during the upcoming public session on the resolution that is before us tonight. If you want to make remarks on that subject, please make that known in the Q&A feature of Zoom by no later than 7:05 p.m. Because the public session will come in a couple of minutes, if you want to make remarks on any other subject, we ask that you make those remarks at a regularly scheduled September full board meeting. And last but not least, as I said before, board members are required by the state open meetings law to have your Zoom cameras on and your first and last name displayed during tonight's entire meeting, from call to order to adjournment. If you must step away from your computer briefly, you are required to leave your camera on. The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office, was posted online, and appears on the screen before you. If there is no objection, we will adopt the agenda as stated. So board members, if you object to adopting the agenda, please raise your hand through Zoom. Okay, seeing no objections, the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. We will now take attendance by roll call, so I'll turn it over to Secretary Matt Bondi.
Thank you, Kyle. When I call your name, please unmute yourself and answer present. Abdul Samad.
Present.
Thank you. Athiad.
Present.
Barkley.
Present.
Thank you, Neil. Marty Barrett.
Present.
LV Barroso.
Present.
Matt Bondi. Claire Brennan.
Present.
Jim Collins.
Present.
Jonathan D'Erico.
Present.
Stuart Desser.
Present.
Michael Devereaux. Michael. Okay, E. Disman,
Present.
Jeannie D'Onofrio. Jeannie. Okay, Jason Freumowitz. Jason.
Can't join us tonight.
Okay, thank you. Eric Goldberg. Eric. Adam Hartke.
He can't join us tonight.
Okay. Molly Hollister.
Also cannot join us tonight.
All right, thank you. Sadie Howard.
Also cannot join us tonight.
Paige Judge.
Present.
John Keller.
Present.
Nadeem Kulani.
Present.
Abigail Cruzmark. Sandra Leftoff.
Present.
Jason Littman.
Also
Yeah.
cannot.
Okay. Anton Malner.
Present.
Kavitha Matthew.
Present.
Sandra McKee. Sandra. Okay, Richard Mintz.
Present.
Philip Napolitano.
Present.
Rajesh Nayar.
Present.
Kevin O'Keefe.
Present.
Okay. Stephen O. Stephen. Okay, Reshma Patel.
Present.
Matt Roberts.
Present.
Lawrence Shire.
Present.
Ann Seligman. Lou Sapersky.
Yo.
Right. Seema Shah. Sandro Sharad.
Present.
Aisha Siddiqui.
I'm present.
Thank you. Letty Simon.
Present.
Hannah Singleman.
Present.
Susan Steinberg.
Present.
Mark Thompson.
Present.
Gabriel Terzo. Okay, Brian Van Nieuwenhoven.
Present.
Matthew Weintraub.
Present.
Laura Wong.
Present.
And Ronnie White.
Present.
Okay, thank you. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you, Matt. In the interest of time tonight, we are waiving the elected and agency representative reports at tonight's meeting. Before we move ahead with the business, Jesus, has anyone signed up to speak in the public session?
They have not.
Okay. I will be waiving my report as chair. Jesus, do you have a district manager report?
Consider it waived.
Thank you. We have now arrived at our committee report and resolution for tonight. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's again observe these ground rules. No one may speak until granted the floor. Board members, if you have a question or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand through Zoom. The chat function should not be used for board business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us to any technical difficulties you're having or to state in writing information such as an email address or link that was already stated aloud on the record during the meeting. When a board member is given the floor to speak, I will first identify you. And to the members of the public, please note that during this session of the meeting, we only take questions from members of the board. And last but not least, we are required by New York State law to have a transcript of this meeting. So please keep all questions and comments succinct and germane to the discussion. So tonight we are again using a digital ballot. The CB6 staff will post a link to the ballot in the chat. Please open this ballot, select your name from the list of board members, and select your vote on each resolution as it is presented. Do not hit submit until later in the meeting after the final resolution has been presented. At the end of the meeting, once you have indicated all of your votes on your ballot, only then should you submit the ballot. You will not be able to submit the ballot unless you vote on the resolution. If you plan on abstaining, please select abstain. Final vote counts will be announced after the second roll call, so please stick around for that. And if any part of this voting procedure is unclear, please raise your hand through Zoom and we will address your question.
It looks like Stephen O requests the floor.
Yep, Stephen, go ahead. Stephen, are you there? Okay, it seems Stephen's screen is frozen.
He's moving, but his mic's not working.
Oh.
Most likely what happened is when his name was called during the roll call, he didn't stay present, but he has let the record show he is present. He's just some AV issues.
Okay, so we'll note that he is here. Thank you very much. All right, so I don't see any other hands up, so we'll move ahead with the resolution for tonight's meeting. So Budget and Governmental Affairs, Reshma.
Thank you, Kyle, and thank you all for joining in this emergency meeting. We had a budget committee meeting on Monday night, and it's actually, I should say Budget and Governmental Affairs, because the topic was governmental affairs. And we had a record 120 people join our meeting presentation on the revised, the newly released revised districts for City Council. And we had a speaker from Citizens Union, and we also had someone from the Sutton Place community join us. And we had a draft resolution, which everybody should have, which is also on the website. And I don't know if you want to pull up the resolution. Is it here?
We can, if you'd like us to.
Yeah, I think it would be good just to have some people. And the resolution is opposing the current map that has been released by the districting commission. And we are urging the districting commission to redraw the maps such that it keeps our communities whole. And we do not have crossover districts. In particular, the issue we have is Sutton Place and Roosevelt Island right now, which were part of Manhattan City Council District 5, are being pushed to Queens City Council District 26. And we think that these two communities and neighborhoods are very different. It would result in the communities of Sutton Place and Roosevelt Island to not get the services that they currently do because of this change. And there are also other changes which in the further resolved, you can see that we're asking the districting commission to make. Does anyone have any questions? Lawrence?
Larry,
Yes,
go ahead.
in regard to Council District number 4, Stuyvesant Town, Peter Cooper Village, and Waterside Plaza, is there anything that you can detect on this map that connects these orphaned areas to the remainder of the district?
I guess, is it, I mean, we can offer that if that is a suggestion you'd like to make. You know,
Yes.
we have, yeah, you know, if you look in the further resolve, we want to give back to CD4, the area between Stuyvesant Town and 34th Street east of First Avenue.
Yeah, they seem to be floating in space.
And I
Agreed.
guess
There doesn't seem to be any kind of a physical connection of any sort, a street, a footbridge, anything.
Agreed. And that's why, yeah, in the further resolve, we have it to remain what it currently is at.
Yeah,
So I think that addresses that concern.
Okay, I have a further comment, and this deals with the area near Sutton Place and Roosevelt Island, which are in Manhattan, but have been added to a Queens district.
Mhm.
I sat in on the redistricting following the Supreme Court case that said that we no longer can have at-large council districts, but everybody has to be represented, one person, one vote. And I cannot recall anything in the history of the city of New York in which council or a board of estimate, a board of aldermen were cross-contaminated between boroughs. in any manner, shape, or form. And I think we could be even stronger than what is being said here and go back further.
Thank you. Yeah, it's one of the clauses actually where this is the first time ever in the history of council districts that it has crossed over such boundaries. So
I'd say that in the history of the city of New York, there's any kind of political boundary that crosses boroughs.
Right. So so those specifics, that's actually a little bit not true, but there are some places that are part of the Bronx that are physically part of the Bronx that are part of Manhattan. So I don't want to get into to that.
You're not talking about Marble Hill, are you?
I believe it's Marble Hill is part of Manhattan, but it's physically part of the Bronx. So I don't want to get into.
Well, that's because of the digging of the Harlem Ship Channel. That's
yeah,
not what we're talking about here.
Yeah, but I don't want to get
the East River.
that detail.
Yeah.
But I think it's written in the resolution that.
Yeah, in the resolution, we're asking that we not have any more crossover districts, regardless of whether or not they exist right now. And the rules that have been outlined in the districting commission are to try to keep the different counties whole. So we agree with you. I see another question. Sandra, let off.
Yeah, hi, left off. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, you raised the issue that there's I don't understand the underlying issue, quite honestly, but in terms of what the change in the district will mean for the community, but you raised the point that the two communities are different. Short of one is on one side of the river and the other is on the other, a lot of the districts are quite diverse in their makeup. So are you going to talk about what you consider to be the differences which work against these changes in boundaries?
So
go ahead.
Yeah, I can answer that. So the issue at hand is that in particular, the Sutton Place area is now being brought into a district that is predominantly Queens. There are a number of issues that come along with this. If you think about participatory budgeting, for example, competing against issues that won't have as much priority for a district that is primarily Queens. That's just one example. We kind of outline this throughout the rest of the resolution as well. There are public schools that will then be part of a Queens community.
Actually, I would ask you to be specific. So it's not merely stating.
So, but it is in the resolution. I don't want to reread the resolution, but it's not in the resolution where we name specific schools and specific parks that would be impacted by this as well.
But it doesn't actually speak to. And so in what way is that damaging to put it in a different district? That's the part I don't understand.
Well, so for the reasons that I just mentioned. So here's just a practical example. If there are issues that are important to the Sutton Place area that are up for participatory budgeting that would have had priority within the Upper East Side council district, it is now being part of a primarily Queens district where presumably the Queens residents would vote on issues that are important to their specific communities in Queens and not on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. So that's one particular example that would adversely affect the community at hand. But I know B is actually from the neighborhood, so I'll turn it over to B. Maybe her question or comment might actually address it even further.
Carl, I wanted to comment on that because I think it's very important to talk about proportionality. Mm-hmm. If it is as proposed, it is the equivalent of 73% would be, or 74% would be Queens. 26 or 25% would be the east side of Manhattan. If you look at that, and the representative that would have Queens certainly would have the interest in Queens, not the interest in what you have on the east side of Manhattan. And I think the proposal does a number of good things. It lists the number of hospitals, it lists the parks, it lists all the things that the community is very interested in and has a need for having a council person that has a community of interest. So I think it's a very detailed and factual proposal. And I think if you look at it, there's been a lot of work done, not just by our community board, but Community Board 8. And a lot of the facts that are in the proposal are really shared by the whole East Side. So I think, we're trying to limit a proposal that gives, the major facts and makes it so that we could oppose what's taking place.
Thank you, B.
And I'd like to add, in terms of the question on demographics, the Sutton Place, Roosevelt Island neighborhoods have many more seniors. If you look at the most recent census data, and there are a lot of services that the aging population requires, and it makes it harder when you have it across boroughs.
Thank you, Reshma. Let's move on to Jim. Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a bunch of reasons to support the resolution, including, for example, Queens Library is a separate entity from the New York Public Library. But that being said, I oppose the resolution for these two reasons. Reading through the city charter, I see that there is no role for community boards in the redistricting. That's a separate element of the city charter. And also, generally we do tend to engage in things that are not explicitly our authority. But that being said, I think there's a potential here for a conflict of interest, because a number of us are appointed at the recommendation of city council members, and eventually one of those council members will be gored if we involve ourselves in this process. In other words, their district will be shrunk or be changed in such a fashion that it may affect their future success at the ballot box. And therefore, that's why I don't think we should be involved at all. So I'll be voting no on the resolution.
All right, thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. We'll move on to Marty. Marty, go ahead.
Yeah, can you scroll down to the further whereas?
All the way down. You mean
all the way down, further resolve.
Yeah.
Okay, you're just about there. Where it says give CD5 back Roosevelt Island and Sutton area. Sutton area really goes to 59th Street and is not in CB8, well, CD5 at all. Excuse me, it is CD5, never mind.
Yeah, just a clarification.
And
this is different between a community board and a city council district. So
yeah, but
yeah. So we are represented by City Council District 5 as well. That's Councilmember Menon. That's one of the reasons why we're talking about this as well, is because that would also affect our community board in terms of who we are working with at the City Council. B, your hand up again.
Yeah, I'd like to call the question.
All right, I see a call to question.
Second.
Seconded by Jim. All right, so we'll now take it to a vote. So everybody, please go to your digital ballot for this resolution. And please, once you have completed your response for it, please hit submit. And for those of you who are not using the digital ballot, we will ask for your vote verbally during the second roll call. So everybody just take some time to open that link up or copy and paste it into your browser. And make sure you select your correct name.
I'm having trouble finding the ballot. Can somebody?
It should be in the chat. Can you see it in the chat, Sandra? It's a message from Brendan. Do you see it? You're good? Okay.
I'm having trouble finding the ballot also. It's not come up.
All right. So Lou, are you able to hit the chat function on Zoom? And in there should be a message from Brendan, a couple of messages. He just sent it again that says CB6 members, you can access the digital ballot to cast your vote on tonight's resolution here. And there's a link in blue. So either copy and paste that into your browser or click on it itself, and you should be able to open up the ballot. Are you good, Lou, or do you still need some assistance? You're on mute, by the way, so I can't hear you if you're speaking. Okay, I'm not hearing anything, so we will move on to old or new business. So board members, if you have any old or new business to state, please raise your hand through Zoom. Letty, I see your hand up.
I just, let me see, make sure I'm unmuted.
Yeah,
I just wanted to thank the board and Reshma and her committee for getting this through so quickly. I'm part of the Sutton area community, and I'm also on the board of the Sutton Place Parks Conservancy, and this means a lot to us. And I'd like to thank you, Kyle, and the committee and the board for passing this tonight. And B is also a resident of the area. She worked very hard on this. So thank you, everybody.
No, thank you, Letty, and to the rest of the community residents. This is again an example of what we call grassroots leadership. So it's very exciting to see the engagement and activism on that. As we still give some time for people to submit their votes in case they haven't done that, and before we proceed, I just want to remind people that there is a hearing, a public hearing by the district and commission that everybody can participate in. You can submit testimony by email, you can attend virtually, you can attend in person. I included that in the email that I originally sent calling this emergency meeting, but I'll also have the board staff included in the chat here as well. It is on August 22nd at 5:30 p.m. at the Schomburg Center up in Harlem. End time will probably be around 10 o'clock or so. If you're going in person, be prepared to be there for a while. But there is opportunity to provide public testimony as well directly to the commission. So if anyone would like to do so, that will be included in the chat right there. Thank you, Brendan. And you can participate that way as well. And one of the points that I will make is that, and we heard this from the guest speaker at the committee meeting on Monday, the more numbers that show up, so the larger number of people from the community that show up to express their opinion on this issue for our neighborhoods, the better, because the district and commission responds to that. So I encourage you to attend this as well. Okay. So we'll now conduct the second roll call. Matt?
Okay, thank you, Kyle. I just want to note that Sandra is present, and so is Gabe, and I marked you present on the initial roll call. So now I'll read the second roll call. Just bear with me. Okay, Ronnie White.
Present. Oops. Good night, everyone. Good night. Present.
Thank you. Maura Wang.
Present.
Matthew Weintraub.
Present.
Brian Van Nieuwenhoven.
Present.
Gabe Terzo.
Present.
Okay. Thank you, Gabe. Susan Steinberg.
Present.
All right. I skipped Mark Thompson. I'm sorry, Mark.
I'm still here. That's okay. I still love you.
Okay, thank you, Mark. You too. Letty Simon.
Here.
Aisha Siddiqui.
I'm here.
Sandro Sharad.
Still here.
Seema Shah. Lou Sapersky. Lou? We'll give Lou a sec. Ann Seligman. Okay. Lauren Shire.
Here.
Matt Roberts.
Present.
Reshma Patel.
Present.
Stephen O.
Present.
Kevin O'Keefe.
Present. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Kev. Rajesh Nayar.
Present.
Philip Napolitano.
Present.
Richard Mintz.
Present.
Sandra McKee.
Present.
Kavitha Matthew.
Present.
Anton Malner.
Present.
Jason Littman. Sandra Leftoff. Sandra?
She's there, but she's on mute.
I'm here, I'm here, I'm here.
Okay, thanks. Nadeem Kalani,
Present.
John Keller,
Present.
Paige Judge,
Present.
Sadie Howard. Okay, sorry, Molly is not in. Adam Harkey. Rick Goldberg here. Jason Fromowitz. No. Jeannie. Okay, B. Disman.
Here.
Michael Devereaux. Okay. Stuart Desser.
Here.
Jonathan D'Erico.
Present.
Jim Collins.
Here. Take
care, everybody.
Enjoy the rest of your summer.
You too.
Thank you, Jim. You too. Claire Brennan.
I'm here.
I'm here too. Elvie Barroso.
Present.
Martin Barrett.
Present.
Neil Barkley. Neil. Okay, Kyle Athad.
Present.
Forgive me if I say your name wrong. Majed Abdul Samad.
Yep, you got it right. Present.
Great, thank you. And let's go back to Lou Sapersky. Lou, are you
No,
here?
I had trouble getting back again from the ballot.
Okay, thank you. That concludes our roll call. Are we ready to read the vote?
Yes, and just wanted to mention Hannah Singleman is here. She said she didn't
Oh,
hear her name.
yes.
She is present.
Forgive me, I'm sorry. I'll note that.
And Neil Barkley is here as well.
Okay,
Just-
good.
Mhm.
All right, I've got them both.
Perfect.
All right, so there were 32 in favor, 4 opposed, 1 abstention, and 1 not entitled. So the resolution passed.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, just before we conclude, I want to thank everybody again for giving up their time during our summer hiatus. I really, really appreciate it, and the community appreciates it even more. So please enjoy the rest of your summer. Just of note, the governor's state of emergency extension to allow us to remain virtually expires on August 13th, which is later this weekend, which was again one of the reasons why we had to call an emergency meeting, just in case that emergency order was not extended and we would be required to meet in person. So we will keep you updated on that as well if that is continued into September as well, which would impact our September full board meeting. But don't worry about that for now. Just want to give you an update on that. And I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their Wednesday night. I wish all full board meetings were this short and to the point. But I appreciate it all. And please enjoy the rest of your summer if I don't speak to you before then. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.